Hello, everybody. Isaiah here from Off the Top Shelf. Welcome to episode 3 of this podcast. And if you, before we get started, I just want to say for those of you who don't, go out and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Sneaker Peak, which is Sneaker and then PEAK. And go ahead and subscribe. I do some shoe reviews on there. I do different kind of content. Um, yeah, and I do have some pretty exciting shoe reviews that are going to be coming up soon. Not to give too much away, but I have an SB Dunk that's on the way here that I'm going to be reviewing, and it's one of the most hyped, I think, SB Dunks ever. And I have that on the way, and then I have my first, well, not my first designer sneaker, but the first designer sneaker that I'm going to be reviewing on the channel that's going to be coming in as well. Even though I'm not too sure if I want to go that direction with designer sneakers, so I'm still debating on that, but I do have that coming in as well. And then I have another pair of Dunks, so this is just a normal Dunk Lows that I have that's going to come in soon as well. So I have a few things up my sleeve that are getting you know planned as we go along. And yeah, so basically what I want to start with is we I mean here, like in general, we've been talking a lot about Jordan Brand, about Nike. Episode 1 was very, very focused on, the sneakers app and on, different Jordan releases and Nike releases that have been coming up and that have been happening. And the bonus content for between episode 1 and episode 2 was also surrounding Nike, around the breaking story from Ann A. Bear, the Nike vice president of North America, and her whole ordeal with sneakers and all that. So that was that. And then episode 2 was my top 5 sneaker releases of the year so far, with my top 5 Jordan models that my personal top 5, my favorite sneakers of all time. And then yeah, so they've been really focused on Nike. They've been really focused on Jordan Brand, and I want to switch it up because I'm not just, yes, those are my favorite. Like Nike and Jordan will always be the top for me. But for those of you who don't know, and I really haven't shown this side on my YouTube channel really, but I'm a big fan of Kanye West, and I'm a big fan of the Yeezys. I'm a big fan of the 350s and all that. And I have a few pairs. I have the Zebras, I have the Yashayas, the Oreos, the Breads, and then I have the triple black 500s as well. And yeah, but I haven't gotten a pair since the Yashayas, like, oof, what was that? February of last year, I think, February 2020. That was the last pair of Yeezys that I got. I don't know, I just kind of slowed down on the Yeezys because they started getting really repetitive. And once I got to the point where the Ashayas are kind of like this grayish white mix, I have 2 pairs of black ones, and then I have the Zebras, and then I have the all black 500s. Kind of have all the colors down. There's a few shoes that are mixed in there that I think I would want, like the clays and all that. My girlfriend has the clays, and every time I see them, I absolutely love that shoe. But I don't know. I just feel like personally, I like the Jordan route a bit more because there's a little bit more variety there. And that's one of the reasons today I want to talk about Boost. I want to talk about Yeezys. I want to talk about the kind of the decline that we've seen in sales and in hype for the Adidas Boost line, and then the decline in hype for Yeezys in general. So first I want to start by talking about Boost. So just like the NMDs and the Ultra Boost that what was it, like 4 or 5 years ago first came onto the scene, and everybody was going crazy over them. Like the triple white, the original the triple white Ultra Boost, the original like triple black Ultra Boost, the NMDs that were coming out with like the really awesome looking like Japanese lettering on the pull tabs, and then on the side, like I don't know, it was just when the NMD came out, that was one of my favorite shoes like ever. I had the original like triple white pair, and then I think I had a few other colors as well. I absolutely loved it, and they were so comfortable. And the Ultra Boost also, I have an all white pair, and I love how comfortable the shoe is. And what I'm gonna say about the shoe, it's not I'm not speaking bad about the shoe. The quality of the shoe is always there. The quality of the shoe is amazing. Like I would wear a pair of Ultra Boost any day of the week. because they're so comfortable. I'll wear a pair of NMDs, any day of the week as well. And I do wear my Ultra Boost a lot. I wear my Ultra Boost everywhere pretty much. Um, like when I really want to be comfortable and I know I'm gonna walk a lot, Ultra Boost are my go-to shoe. Like I don't go like for those of you who see my YouTube channel, I'm a huge fan of the Vapor Max, but I will put down a pair of Vapor Max and then grab a pair of Ultra Boost if I'm gonna be walking a lot. And I don't know. I just feel like I said, what I'm gonna say about the hype and the sale of the shoe does not mean that it's a bad shoe or that now I'm saying that it sucks just because there's no hype. No, I'm just talking purely about the hype, the resale value, and what I think that decline is attributed to. So personally, I think that a big deal, or one of the biggest reasons why the hype has died down so much on all things Boost. So Ultra Boost, NMDs, and then now even the Yeezys are suffering from this problem is the oversaturation of the market. So the market is getting so oversaturated with different colorways, different styles, different everything that it's getting to the point where people aren't really buying into that hype anymore because the shoe isn't as exclusive as they should have kept it probably. So, and I feel like even if I'm gonna accuse, Adidas of going down this path, I feel like you could even accuse, Jordan Brand of going down this path with the Jordan 1, where like every week it feels like we're getting a new colorway of this shoe, of this model, and it kind of gets repetitive because nothing changes. It's just like a few tweaks here, a few tweaks there. So like I said, I have the Yeezy Boost Yashayas. If you compare that shoe to like the Statics or like what's the like the Citrons or something like that, if you compare all those three Yeezys, it's very very minor differences. Like like this piece of stitching has white and gray, or like this sole is a little bit more yellow, this sole is a little bit more gum, this one's a little bit more clear. It's little things like that that are tweaked that maybe shouldn't require a whole new release to have. You know what I mean? I don't know if that made any sense at all, but I don't know if there's really a reason to release all these colorways that are so similar to each other. Like if you look at the Cinders and then you compare them to the triple blacks that we got of the 350 V2s, there's no difference except for the sole is a little bit gray on the Cinders as compared to the blacks. So it's like, can we really justify, like as a consumer, going out and paying $220 for a pair of Cinders when we already have the triple blacks that we paid $220 for or resell for? Like, is that a justifiable purchase? I guess you could say, because how often are you gonna go and then be like, oh, like I'm gonna wear a black pair of Yeezys today? Like, which one am I gonna wear when they're virtually identical? That would be like me buying a pair of, I don't know, bread ones and then buying a pair of like the band ones. I wouldn't do that just because they're so similar in color that I don't know if it's really worth making that purchase, if you know what I mean. For the same reason I love Concords, but I don't think I would get a pair of Concords because the color blocking and the color is so similar to the Win Like 82, the UNC 11s. So I don't know. It's one of those things that when you start to oversaturate the market with very similar colorways, same model over and over and over again. And I'm thinking back now, the 350 V2. I remember the first time I tried to cop a pair for the Belugas. I was in high school still. I was in my senior year of high school, and the day that we had like our class picture taken out on our field, I remember that day they were doing the drops where you had to stay in a certain area where you were close enough to a mall that was going to have the drop to be able to reserve the shoe. So I spent like 2-3 hours like sitting in a car waiting for that to happen because I lived kind of far from my high school. So if I left the area, I wasn't going to be able to reserve my shoe. And yeah, so we're talking 2017. So probably, if I'm remembering correctly, this was maybe because we took our class picture spring of 2017. So it was probably spring of 2017 when I was going through this with the Belugas. But I'm not 100% sure that was the exact time. So I'm actually going to look at it right here. So the Belugas Let's see. The original Belugas came out. Let's see. Sorry, y'all, for the pause. I'm trying to get my dates right. Okay, yeah, so I was wrong actually. So yeah, this actually makes a little bit more sense. It was September 24th of 2016. So yeah, that makes sense. So we had just started the school year. We were taking our class pictures for the class of 2017 because 2017 is the year I graduated high school. We were on the field. So yeah, so we are 4 months away, 5 months away from the fifth anniversary of the 350 V2 hitting the market. And I don't know about you guys, but there's not many shoe models that last that long, in terms of hype, when there's not really much innovation happening. Everything's kind of staying consistent. The only shoe that I can think of the only shoes which are an anomaly, it's a one off. Nothing is ever going to compare to it again, is the Jordans. The Jordans you can get, we've been getting different colorways of the Jordan 1s since for almost 30 years now. And it's the only shoe that I think that can pull that off consistently. And even then, they give us some innovation. They give us some, diversity, like the Dior ones, like the Zooms, like the lows, the mids, whatever the case may be. They switch it up. Even though lows and mids are kind of garbage, but they're still trying to find a way to switch it up. So like the Zooms, for example, I feel like the perfect example. If you have the Jordan 1 Zooms, it's they're switching it up. I don't know if you guys remember the Jordan 1, the bread fly knits. They're trying to find a way to make it a little bit different because they realize that 30 years is a long time for one product to stay on the market without changing. And I feel like that's something that Adidas is failing to realize with the Yeezy brand, is that they're consistently giving us 350 V2s when in reality they aren't at the level of an Air Jordan to consistently put out the same thing over and over and over again. And like I said, there's just so many colorways in the last year and a half, 2 years almost, that are so similar that everything looks almost identical, and it's hard to tell like a shoe apart from the pictures. And it's the same Primeknit upper with the same sole, same everything. The only thing that they've changed from here and there is like the pull tabs. Some have pull tabs, some don't, and that's really it. And I don't think that's a sufficient, change in 5 years. So even putting out the same silhouette for 5 years with very minimal change, and it's a cause for concern. To be honest, I feel like it's something that they need to begin to change a little bit. And I feel like this past weekend, so last weekend, they were taking a step in that direction. So if we look at it, the Yeezy 450, excuse me, the Yeezy 450, which is a very, very ugly shoe. A shoe that I personally would never wear, but I realize that and that's my personal opinion, it's ugly to me, but I know there's going to be a lot of you that absolutely love the shoe. And man, if you just see the hype that was leading up to this release with a shoe that, kind of divided the fan base, it's different. It's different. So 350 V2s, we've been getting a different color almost every week for like the past 2 years. And every color is kind of similar. But here we have something completely different, completely new, completely out of the ordinary, and then just eccentric and different, that I feel like it's something that was much needed for the Yeezy line. And if you just look at the resale on this, the resale is $400, almost double what the retail was. And that's what people are looking for. People are looking for something different. Nobody wants the same recycled colors, the same recycled silhouettes, which is why recently the 700s, 500s, what else am I thinking? 700 highs, let me see, the 700 V3s, like all those models are selling in terms of resale probably better than the 350s because they're just different. There's something different, something new for the consumers to look at because people are tired of seeing the same, Yeezys with very minimal modifications being sold every single week. And well, that's one thing I'll give the Jordan brand. They try to, switch it up a little bit on releases. So maybe they'll use, I don't know, some distressed nubuck on one shoe 1 week with some tumbled leather, and the next week they'll do patent leather on a Jordan 1, or the next week they'll do some crazy colors with like with the J Balvins, and then they'll do. So we're getting the hyper blues, I think, in like a week or two, and then we see what they did there. Like I said, the distressed suede with the tumbled leather, kind of like the turbo greens, and then that faded vintage look with like the yellowing sole. Like, give us something like that. Give us something where it's still the 350 V2, but it's different. Make something change. Like, make something different. And I feel like we're gonna get that soon, because I don't know, for those of you who have seen it, um, there's a new Yeezy coming out. It's still a 350 V2, okay, but it has a little bit of a change to it. So the new one that's coming out, let me get this name right to make sure I don't absolutely butcher it. It's called the Mono Ice. Yeah, the Mono Ice is the new Yeezy 350 V2 that's coming out, and they finally changed it. It's no longer that like prime knit upper, like complete prime knit upper that's like completely just covered, and the same basic thing that we've been getting with every 350 V2 for the last 5 years almost. And now what they're doing is, if you look them up, it's like an aqua blue color, and it's a fabric. It's called a monofilament mesh, so it's kind of see through. It's it has this nice design under it. It's very, very pleasing to look at. It has a very nice like icy blue color that has like a little bit of a gradient on the side, and it's exactly what I think we need. Something like that. Something I don't want like a basic prime knit upper anymore. I want something to change it up a little bit. I don't want solid color blocking all throughout. So that's why I like the direction that this shoe's going, and I feel like this is kind of the change that is very much needed in the Yeezy space right now, because we need something new. We need something a little bit more innovative. Boost hit hard. It came, it was quick. Like, it was a big deal when it came out, but I feel like they didn't try to move it forward. So, and that's one thing I'll give credit to Nike for. Nike has their Nike Air, but how many years have we seen from year to year that it changes a little bit? Changes a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit of tweaking, and they make it better. They improve on it year through year. Like, I've been a fan of the Vapor Max since day one. I have the original pair, and I can tell you for a fact it has improved from the first Nike Vapor Max to the second Nike, the 2020 model that we have. There's a difference. The air bubble is different. It's smoother to walk on. It's more durable, so the air like doesn't come out as easily as it did with the first few models. The upper is different. The Flyknit is not as strangling to your feet anymore. It molds a little bit better to the foot. They've improved on it year after year after year, and they do the same thing with the Air Maxes. So they always try to find a way to incorporate something new. They did it with the Air Max 270. They had the Air Max 270, which is a huge success, and they didn't just sit down and take a break and be like, okay, we're good. We're just gonna pump out Air Max 270s for the next 5 years. What they did is they're like, okay, let's switch it up. Air Max 270 React. So it's still the same base of the shoe, but you're mixing it up a little bit to keep the consumers interested, which is what you need to do. And I'll applaud Adidas and the Yeezy brand for the Yeezy 700. The 700, they had a hit with the Wave Runner. Everything went great, but then what did they do? They switched it up. And right now, if I had to tell you what my favorite Yeezy is, I think with full honesty, I think I would tell you that it's the 700. So they had the 700 MNVN, they had the 700 Wave Runner, they had the 700 V3, the 700 V2. Like, the 700 right now is consistently changing. It's evolving. It's getting better and better. So right now, if I had to tell you what my favorite Yeezy is, it's it's a 700. The 700 consistently is changing, giving us better colorways, more updated colorways that aren't repetitive, and I feel like that's exactly what we need as a sneaker community. We need something fresh. We need something new, and I feel like the 350 V2 is starting to drop and decline in sales and in hype and in popularity because it's not changing. It's the same thing over and over and over again. And I'm really hoping that these Mono Ice 350 V2s are the start of something pretty special with Kanye West, because I absolutely love those Mono Ice 350 V2s. Personally, I would get a pair. I would rock them, and I think I'm definitely going to try to get a pair because it's absolutely a beautiful shoe. If you can, go ahead and look them up because they are amazing, and I feel like it's something different, something that I need, because I have the Oreos, I have the Breads, I have the Zebras, I have the Yashayas, I have the Black 500s. I feel like I covered my base for all the colors that I need in my closet for Yeezys. There's really no point for me to go out and expand more when I'm just gonna keep getting the same colors, because how many times am I gonna wear an outfit that coincides with these colors that justifies me buying the same color twice? Because it doesn't happen. Like, honestly, like I already don't wear my Yeezys often because it's very few times where I feel like they're gonna go well with an outfit. So now if I just keep adding to my collection different Yeezys, at what point do I stop? You know what I mean? Because everything's the same color, and like, when am I gonna wear those new colors? So that's why because there's a lot of shoes that I've liked that have been coming out. Like, I like the triple blacks, but when am I gonna use them? I already have the Breads. I already have the Oreos. What's the point of getting another black pair of Yeezys? I already have the Yashayas that are earth toned. What's the point of getting another earth toned color? I already have the Zebras that are white and black. What's the point of getting another color that's similar? And that's what I'm getting at. The reason I collect so many Jordans because I can get them in so many different colors that they'll match with like anything that I wear, and it's not the same exact silhouette every single time. So like, I have the Carmine sixes, I have the infrared sixes, I have the 11s, a whole bunch of ones, and like I can wear those with different things. But with the 350s, I feel like I'm very confined in terms of the silhouette, and if I just keep adding more and more and more and more Yeezys, it's gonna get to the point where it's kind of pointless to own all these Yeezys for no reason. But yeah. So I'm gonna leave you guys with those thoughts for today. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting the podcast here. I really appreciate everybody who tunes in and who leaves a rating and who shares or who just listens in general. I really appreciate you all. Please go ahead and check out my YouTube channel, Sneaker Peek. And I appreciate everyone. Next week we're going to be uploading again on Friday. And thank you all for tuning in and for a great start to the podcast. We're growing, definitely, for sure. And yeah, so I appreciate you all, and take care and have a good one, and stay fresh, everybody.